Hello traders, and thank you for tuning in today. Welcome to the Universal Securities Group YouTube channel. This is your weekly macro outlook number 3. Today we'll be discussing the current state of the global financial markets by providing our professional opinions, analysis, and forecasts for approximately 10 financial markets on a fundamental and technical basis. First, we'll start with a recap of the previous trading week, and then we'll move on to current news and the outlook for next week. Thank you for watching and enjoy the presentation. First, we will do a recap of the biggest market moving events from the previous trading week. First, here we have a speech from Fed Chair Powell. We have the Beige Book released by the Federal Reserve, and we have ongoing geopolitical events. Here I have compiled a list of headlines released throughout the week that were also influential to price action. So starting off, we have Fed can run balance sheet down by another $2 trillion to $2.5 trillion. Barclays now expects a Fed rate hike in December. Again, the U.S. Beige Book, the U.S. economy little changed in recent weeks. China retail sales and industrial output beat. UK inflation remains unchanged at 6.7%. Bank of America unrealized losses top 130 billion. Fed's cash carry, inflation is still too high. Microsoft and Amazon $1 billion Cloud 365 productivity deal. Goldman calls for buys on 10-year treasuries. Quote from Fed Chair, inflation is still too high and lower economic growth is likely needed to bring it down. More quotes from the Fed Chair. Household savings are higher, spending has been higher. It does not feel like policy is too tight. In hindsight, possible Fed could have done less during pandemic. So some very hawkish comments from the Fed Chair. More Fed comments from Fed's Mester. The Fed still has perhaps a couple more years of balance sheet rundowns, balance sheet cuts. UBS, equity weakness on Friday isn't from multi-asset unwind, but from retail selling. And CNBC, something is breaking in financial markets. Here are some notable market moves from the previous week. Again, gold, another bullish week. Gold was up 4.5% on the week. Oil, another 6% move higher. NASDAQ, a notable 4.3% bearish move. Pound Aussie, 220 pip move higher. The Pound NZD, 380 pip bullish move, and the VIX was another 28% higher. Here again we have a hawk dove analysis. Again, Kashkari and Mester with some very hawkish comments. Also the chairman with hawkish tones as well. Next, CFTC, S&P 500 net speculative positions. We can see here the institutional data, they did decrease by less. So they cut by 94,000 the previous week. The latest print, they cut by less, a number of 63.2 thousand. Moving on here, we have earnings calendar for the upcoming week. So I think a lot of market participants will be heavily focused on these earnings releases. A lot of tech companies reporting in the U.S., notably Tuesday. After market close, we have Microsoft, Alphabet, Snap. Going on to Wednesday, we have Meta, Intel, and then Amazon. So a lot of big earnings coming up. Next, the red folder macroeconomic news releases. Monday, don't really have much going on. Tuesday, for the pound, we have the claimant count change, PMI. For the euro, we have PMI. AUD has CPI, and USD also has PMI. Wednesday, we have rate statements from the CAD and another speech by the Fed chairman. Thursday, we have a rate statement for the Eurozone, and we have advanced GDP quarter over quarter for the USD. And then Friday, which I think will be the biggest focus, is the core PCE month over month for the United States dollar. And then again, we have earnings. Okay, let's see. Let's jump over to Chrome here. So fear and greed, we are still in fear, just barely touching extreme fear here. Market is being driven by fear right now. A lot of pessimism and uncertainty in the market currently. Let's go to trading economics. So first headline here, global stocks fall. Major indexes around the world closed lower on Friday amid concerns about an escalation in the Middle East conflict, elevated bond yields, and mixed corporate results. In the US, the S&P and the NASDAQ lost over 1%, and the Dow Jones fell 287 points. In Europe, the DAX retreated to a 7-month low, and the Pan-European Stocks 600 reached its lowest level in 9 months. Okay, so moving on. Moody's lifts UK's outlook to stable. Crude oil settles above $88. We'll be looking at crude oil in a bit here. Week ahead, we will read that. Canadian retail sales seen stagnating in September. Brazil economic activity shrinks more than expected. And finally, U.S. natural gas prices set for 8% weekly loss. Okay, let's read a week ahead summary from Trading Economics. In the United States, attention will be focused on critical data points, including the Q3 GDP growth rate, the PCE price index, and personal income and spending, followed by key metrics such as durable goods orders and PMI readings from S&P Global. Housing market health will also be assessed through pending and new home sales. Meanwhile, the earnings calendar is set for a flurry of activity with major players like Alphabet, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, 3M, Coca-Cola, GM, and Spotify among those releasing their reports. Internationally, central bank interest rate decisions will be key, with announcements from the ECB, Bank of Canada, and Turkey's TCMB. Flash services and manufacturing PMIs will be released in Australia, Japan, France, Germany, the Eurozone, and the United Kingdom. Australia's inflation rate, Germany's IFO business climate, and GfK consumer confidence, as well as the GDP growth rates in South Korea and Spain, and the UK's unemployment rate will also be closely watched. So we can see we have a busy week ahead of us, a lot of data coming out that will be imperative to the overall direction of global markets for the remainder of the year. Next, let's go to Forex Factory and let's review some more news releases. So we already went over the red folders in the PowerPoint presentation, and let's just look at some yellow folders now. Like I said, Monday, not much here. By the way, this video is being recorded Sunday, October 22nd at 3:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Monday, not much. Pretty slow day. Do have consumer confidence coming out of Euro. Moving on to Tuesday, you have Bank of Japan core CPI year over year. Number forecasted is 3.3%, so forecasting unchanged. Moving on, we already went over red folders, so climate count change coming out of Great Britain, Euro PMI news, PMI for the pound, and PMI for the USD, CPI for the Aussie. Wednesday, more rate statements from the Bank of Canada. And the German IFO business climate. To Thursday, Spanish unemployment rate. Weekly unemployment claims for the USD. Of course, you have advanced GDP, durable goods orders on Thursday from the USD, and ECB press conference. Friday, you have core PCE and revised University of Michigan consumer sentiment. So let's jump over to charts now. First, we'll start with the US dollar, of course. So start on a weekly basis here. We could see weekly candle, a pretty small candle, not much price action last week for the dollar. Scale down to the daily, although we did have a breakout of this trend line, as you can see here, but we did pop back into it, and now we kind of created a range right here for the dollar. You're still well above your daily 200 on the dollar, but like I said, you do kind of have a range forming now. You do technically have a lower high printed on the daily charts. So I could see the dollar pulling back a little bit further down, maybe to your 200, but overall still remain bullish on the dollar. No reason to really be bearish on the dollar quite yet. Definitely still above 100, and you're still bullish on a technical basis. Moving on to indices. So indices had a pretty ugly week. Have an ugly bearish engulfing candle here on a weekly basis for the NASDAQ. You can see we're still in this kind of a descending channel here. We were looking for sells up here in this area, 15 to 50. We did not enter. We wanted to get in a little bit higher near this top of this gray box here. So if you're in sells, that's good. I would not be looking for buys on US indices. I could definitely see a pullback down to the daily 200. Also at the bottom of this kind of zone right here, you can see we have some structure and we have some liquidity down here. The current price around 14,500. I don't think the structure will hold for the NASDAQ. Like I said, I could definitely see a pullback down to the daily 200, and then we'll see what type of price action forms around there. So this yellow box, this is a weekly retracement golden zone. This is the 61, the bottom here. So kind of longer term, I can see the NASDAQ definitely pulling down to this golden zone, and then you have your weekly 200 right here as well. But yes, pretty much kind of bearish on equities. We're still in this channel. Not really looking for buys at current price. Kind of just waiting to see what price does here at these levels. You are at support, so I would like to see the price action that forms this week on the indices, especially with earnings and the plethora of macroeconomic news releases. Pretty much the same thing on the Dow. Start on the weekly. Pretty ugly candle here. Very bearish. This black box here is kind of a consolidation area, kind of right back into it. So on a weekly chart again, you did push up right above it, and then immediately sold back down into it. Going down to the daily, you did have a nice sell opportunity here last week. You could see price broke, pulled back, and then sold off again. So currently not looking for buys in the Dow, kind of waiting to see how price reacts to this trend line. Didn't quite touch it, but I could definitely see the Dow continuing to fall, breaking right through this trend line to the bottom of this consolidation zone once again, pretty much to your weekly 200. So we're just waiting to see what price action does. I want to jump to transports. You did have a breakout of this ascending trend line here on the Dow. Again, pretty ugly, bearish weekly candle here. Broke out. This could possibly be a fake out on the transports. We will just have to see. Like I said, there's a lot of pessimism and fear in the markets, so a fake out would not surprise me. Structure is still technically bullish. You had a high printed in November 21 on the transports, pulled back to your weekly 200, and then you started that ascending channel up. Once again, you broke out of it, but you're still above your weekly 200. So we want to see how price action forms on the transports. And then, so Dow, we've already covered. Gold. Gold had an interesting week, as previously mentioned. Start with weekly here. Again, a nice bullish week for gold, although you did kind of pull back on Friday. See, you're up about 4.7% on the week. So you had that pullback on Friday and had a nice daily rejection candle. You shot up right to your 4-hour MA cross and then sold off. So I could potentially see gold with a pullback here, maybe to your daily 200, and then continue to buy up. Continue to buy up. Something interesting on gold. On the monthly chart here, you could see you have a nice big consolidation zone right here, triple top, and then you have a triple bottom as well. On the weekly, you had a nice triple bottom, which caused the bullish run. Overall, though, I could see gold definitely continuing its upwards direction to give a third touch to this trend line right here on the monthly chart. But we will see how the price action looks on gold in the coming trading weeks. Overall, not much bias on gold. I could see gold kind of ranging around these areas between 1900 and 2000. You can see we barely missed 2000 on Friday. So if you're in buys on gold, that's good. I guess I'd be kind of looking for buys down here closer to the daily 200. Oil. Let's start on a weekly. You could see we had a indecision candle on the weekly chart for oil. Nice doji right at 88, as we read on Trading Economics. And back to the daily here, we kind of poked out of this trend line and then dropped right back into it. So scaling down to the 4-hour. Technically, we still have bullish structure. High right here. Let's see, we have a high, higher high, and a lower high. So it's gonna be interesting to see what oil does. I wouldn't be bearish on oil till below 85. So definitely below the 200 on the 4-hour. I'd like to see how oil plays out. Overall, I would be more bearish on oil than bullish. Um, yeah, that's oil. Pretty much no bias on oil. What's going on here? Really no bias on oil. Just want to see how price action plays out for the coming weeks. Again, we have geopolitical tensions driving the oil market right now. Moving on to currencies. GU, pound, dollar, weekly chart here. Pretty small candle. We had a potential buy in pound dollar. We just missed it here, right around 1.2. You had this scale down to the 4-hour here. See, we had a nice channel, kind of broke out, gave a nice wick on the 4-hour, and then shot back up. So currently, I'd still be looking for buys in pound dollar. If price can get to our level down here, right around 1.285, 84, be looking for buys in pound dollar to the daily 200 actually. So that's a 1-to-7 risk to reward if it plays out. I could see pound just buying up to there currently. So if you're in buys, I'd be holding to the daily 200. Moving on to euro, not much price action in the euro. We have a pretty much ascending channel here. Start off on a weekly. Had a bullish week for the euro. Trying to fill this wick here. Back down to the daily. You could see we're just in this channel right now. So I could see sells in the euro up here near the top of this channel. And you'd also be at the top of our box here. Scale down to the 4-hour. Sell right at your 4-hour 200 would be nice. Potentially we could set something up here, say right around 65, 165. Stop loss would be above structure, so pretty tight stop loss. And then I'd be targeting the bottom of this channel. So you have about a 1-to-5 risk to reward if this plays out. So we'll see. Overall, remain pretty bearish on the euro. Yeah, definitely remain bearish on the euro. I'd like to see another retest of this longer term trend line on a weekly basis. So that's euro. Kind of looking for sells. See if we get an opportunity this week to sell the euro. Pound yen. Not much going on here. Let's start on weekly. Again, a pretty small weekly candle for the pound yen. Turn the drawings back on here. Scale down to the daily. A lot of consolidation here in the pound yen, although you do have some nice rejection wicks around 181.50. You haven't got a daily close below 181.50. The sells for pound yen were up here at 183. You can see we had a nice push down outside of that trend line, and then we just started consolidating right here. I could see pound yen selling up here around the 183 area. See, we have a potential trade set up here. So say price got to 183, kind of be looking for sells down to this overall weekly uptrend. See that there on the weekly, and I'm kind of filling this wick too. Back down to the 4-hour. Yeah, kind of be looking for short-term sells in the pound yen at 183. Take out some of this liquidity and then sell back down. Yeah, I really want to see pound yen hit this 180 level, take out some of this liquidity, at this gray zone right here. Let's see if I can just extend this. Right here. So yeah, you have a lot of buy liquidity right here around 180.25 on the pound yen. But overall, you're just consolidating. Yeah, you're just consolidating on the pound yen right now. Moving on, pound Aussie. Weekly chart here. Weekly chart had a nice wick on the weekly, but kind of made a hangman candle, so it could potentially be a reversal on the pound Aussie. Pound Aussie overall is a monthly chart here. Pretty bearish. Let's go down to a 4-hour. So yeah, we had some nice structure here on the pound Aussie. Kind of broke out of this triangle wedge pattern, and you failed to make a high. You have a high on October 13th, and you failed to break it. So I could see pound Aussie selling back down to our level here, take out this double bottom, and then from there we'll see how price action plays out. Scale down to an hour here. I could definitely see pound Aussie selling this week back down to these levels. Potentially could get something like this, a short up here at these levels around 193. Stop loss will be right above the highs. Again, pretty small stop loss. First target would be down here. So 1 to 5. 1 to 5 risk to reward potentially on the pound Aussie. We'll see what opportunities we get this week. Moving on to pound CAD. There's actually not much here. Weekly. Let's see. Pretty small candle on the weekly. Looks like it was trying to engulf, but not quite. Daily, nice wick on the daily. You're still below your 200, and you have a double top here. And you are below your 38% retracement for sells. And once again, you have a double top here. So I could also see pound CAD selling down to this level right here, 165. You're a 4-hour low. So again, we'll be selling the pound this week. Stop loss above the double top. First target, 4-hour low. This wouldn't be a trade that we'd be interested in taking. Not very good risk to reward here, just about a 1 to 2. But you can see the retracement was pretty weak. Like this retracement looks pretty weak to me. So I could see the pound CAD selling even further. Okay, so moving on to pound NZD. Weekly chart here. A nice bullish week for the pound NZD. Overall, you moved about 370 pips for the week. We were looking for sales we start looking for sells on pound NZD. This is the daily chart. You're still in this upward trend, but I do believe you're starting to form a top here, a short-term top on the pound NZD. Had some rejection on Friday, and we have a nice wick on the 4-hour chart. So you had this yellow line here. You have a nice double top here on the hour. You can see that clearly. Double top right here. Price actually took the double top. On the hour, price took the double top and then hour bullish engulfing back into the zone. I want to see if pound NZD can start closing below this purple line, and I'd be looking for sells on pound NZD. At least first down to your 200 on the hour. So potentially stop loss above this high, depending on how price action looks. First target be the hour MA, but overall I could see pound NZD falling all the way down to right around 205. So again, a nice kind of 1 to 5. Could even target lower here to this gray level on pound NZD. So looking for sells in the pound this week all across the board. And VIX had a bullish week, again up 27% in the week. Weekly chart here, nice bullish candle, and we closed above our weekly 200. We also closed above 20 on the VIX on a weekly basis, so could definitely see volatility continuing to push higher, definitely up to the 25 level first of all, and then maybe even higher, again due to uncertainty in the markets, geopolitical tensions, and rising interest rates. And I wanted to take a look at job vacancies here in the U.S. So you could see job vacancies have continuously declined since about April 2022. So this is the tight labor market that the Fed keeps referring to. So yeah, job vacancies continuously falling in the U.S. And lastly, the central bank balance sheet. So as I previously mentioned, Fed's Waller said they have they could cut 2 to 2.5 trillion off the balance sheet. So that would bring us down to, I believe, 5.5 trillion, 2.5, so right around 5.5 trillion. So you'd kind of be right above your monthly 200, which was like around the same area in late 2019, early 2020, and then you shot up from there. And we are like right at our weekly 200 on the balance sheet. So interesting chart here. Definitely see how this plays out. And that's about it for this week. Pretty short and simple this week. Not really a bias either way, bullish or bearish. We kind of just want to see how price action plays out on the technical level, especially after these bearish candles we had on a weekly basis last week. But that'll do it for the third edition of the weekly macro outlook. If you're new here or have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video and took any value from it. Thank you, and I'll see you later this week.